Welcome to Spiritual Foundations for Life. This is day number 223. The world is filled with blessing snatchers. You've met them. These are the individuals who can find something bad in everything. They feel called to play the role of the devil's advocate, so to speak, even though the devil doesn't need any help. They're quick to object and always have a reason why something can't be done. Dripping with negativity, they put a damper on life. Many of these pessimistic people who only see the dark side of life probably don't realize how discouraging they are to others. Sanballat and Tobiah in Nehemiah chapter 4 represent the worst of this type of person, as they opposed the work of God and they ridiculed those who were trying to do God's work. They said in Nehemiah chapter 4 verse 3, what they are building, even a fox climbing up on it would break down their walls of stone. Well, Nehemiah was an encourager. Encouragers motivate others to courageously continue on no matter what. When Nehemiah heard the insults of Sanballat and Tobiah, he prayed in Nehemiah chapter 4 verse 4, and the people continued working with all their hearts. This only caused the enemy to unite against them. But Nehemiah prayed again, and then he placed guards on the wall and he encouraged them. However, the enemy continued to try to discourage them by spreading lies. See, propaganda is a very effective weapon in a war. An army can be defeated without weapons if they become discouraged and believe the lies of the enemy. Listen to how the workers responded to all the negative criticism in Nehemiah chapter 4, verses 10 and 11. The strength of the laborers is giving out, and there is so much rubble that we cannot rebuild the wall. Also, our enemies said before they know it or see us, we will be right there among them and will kill them and put an end to the work. Well, how did Nehemiah the encourager respond? He put half the people on the wall for defensive purposes, and then he gave a speech to all of the people in Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 14. He said, "Don't be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome, and fight for your families, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your homes." See, the people's fear decreased when they remembered the Lord, and they returned to their task of rebuilding the wall. God had frustrated the plan of the enemies, according to Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 15. And when the walls were completed and the enemy heard about it, how did the enemy respond? Nehemiah chapter 6, verse 16. All the surrounding nations were afraid and lost their self-confidence because they realized that this work had been done with the help of our God. See, we may not have leaders like Nehemiah to encourage us, but we can always encourage ourselves in the Lord, as David did when he was greatly distressed. 1 Samuel chapter 30, verse 6, it says, "But David found strength in the Lord." When we feel discouraged, we should remember that God is great and awesome. He will meet all of our needs, and we can do everything through Christ who strengthens us, according to Philippians chapter 4, verses 13 and 19. And Hebrews chapter 10, verses 24 and 25 tells us, "Let us consider how we can spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." See, when we encourage someone, we give that person the courage to run the race with endurance. Our key point today is that encouragement gives us and others the courage to run the race with endurance. And our key verse, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 11, "Therefore encourage one another and build each other up, just in fact you are doing." God bless you. See you tomorrow for another episode of Spiritual Foundations for Life.